Hey guys, how's it going? Absolutely freezing in the morning, getting to single digits. OMG. So, keep warm, snuggly. Still got the rubbers on, buried under all this leather. Anyway, so terminologies. One thing I've noticed a lot since answering a few questions on like Reddit and Quora is that quite a few people, and I'm not sure if this is a regional thing, community thing, or anything in between, but there's quite a few people who use the term dom and sub for what I and a lot of people I know would call topping and bottoming, because being a dom and sub sort of indicates a longer term dominant and submissive relationship rather than just sort of basically session based play. Now, it gets confusing when there's quite a few people I know who regularly top and regularly bottom to the same people, but they don't have a negotiated and agreed DS relationship. Okay, they're just friends who scratch an itch or like to have messed up things done with them or to them or for people or whatever. But it is not a dynamic. It is not a dominant or submissive relationship. And I think even though for temporarily in that particular play they are basically acting or role playing as dominant and submissive, it is not a full on relationship that goes beyond that. It doesn't have to be into everyday life, but it is more extensive than just for that session or just mates who are scratching an itch. Now, there's a lot of people say, oh, I'm dissing on, whatever it is people do. I'm not. It's fine. I mean, people do that. But it gets confusing because there's a lot of people that say, I went out with this dom, they did this and that, and, they need to, give me aftercare. And I've talked about this a lot with a lot of people, particularly in FLRs, female-led relationships, and this happens into DOMs as well. This is where you get topping from the bottom or subs wanting to get relationships without the consent of the dominant or push beyond the boundaries of what they agreed to do in activities and their intimacies and whatnot. And more specifically, I was talking to a lovely lady while I was on my cruise ship about it, and her sub, being a male, he had no idea. I said, you will get people that want aftercare for weeks, months, whatever, and they'll keep calling and hassling and wanting that craving, that connection with the person, even though they agreed that this is only for a play session, this is only a temporary thing. Like, I'm just topping you, you're bottoming for me. This is not a dominant or submissive relationship. You're not my sub, you're not my dom, even though you're playing that role for that particular time. They will try and push for a relationship. This happens to male and female doms. Male and female subs will try this, and they do it a lot. They make the excuse that it's aftercare. Given the changing situation with the community I've seen in quite a few years, where there's a lot more casual play, there's a lot more availability of play in varying different people. It seems to be, I don't know, I was talking with someone about this in San Francisco, that because people in San Francisco are out a lot more, that it's easier for them to find other people. It's kind of like a competition and a grab for some quality people, whatever you define as quality people. So people employ various sort of tricks and manipulations into, getting what they want or what they think they want. So that makes it interesting with regards to using the terminology of DOMs and subs, because a lot of people interchangeably use that, or they use the term, dom and sub to describe just a play session where someone's really topping you and you're being bottomed, or you're topping someone and they're bottoming to you. Now, that should be negotiated at the outset They might say that they're doms. That doesn't mean that they're doming you in the play sessions. To a lot of people and I, it means that they're topping, because it's a temporary thing. There's been no negotiation for anything long-term or long-term relationship. It's more of a, you know, hey, how's it going? It's like if you were starting out dating somebody, the first time you meet them and have coffee, you're not in a relationship. You're not like their boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. So don't think of it the same way. I mean, don't think of it any differently because it's kink and because it's BDSM. Just because you're meeting with them, you're having a couple of coffees with them, it might turn out later on you meet them for, like, you know, 5 or 10 times, discuss things. You have some things in common, you have some things you don't, but you don't quite meet up with that whole what you want in a relationship or a romantic relationship. But you're quite happy to be friends, meet and talk and have coffee. You can regularly have coffee. It doesn't mean it has to go any further. Same as with kink, play and BDSM relationships. Imagine that your coffee sessions are like your play sessions, and your relationships are what you're feeling out. Don't get overwhelmed just because, you know, you finally suddenly find someone that has something in common with you, that everything has to be the same. There's a whole new relationship energy thing that people get into, where it's all about the new person conforming to them. The thing with kink is that even though you're exploring and you're finding out what it means for other people and what their kinks are, you still have to, on your own, decide if that is right for you when you try it out. Even though you're trying it with somebody, it could be that for that particular instance, it works with that person. But unless you try it with somebody else, you're never gonna know. And one thing, just because it's different feeling to, you know, the person you originally or had tried it with before or regularly tried it with before, doesn't mean it's wrong. You'll have different expectations. It's a mind block thing where you're not expecting it to be as good as, you know, what you previously had, so your mind is not open to even receiving that kind of stimuli. So you might try something completely different and then move on from there. There's plenty of people I know who will do different things with different people because they have a particular skill set or they have that connection with regards to that particular type of play. So I've diverted a little bit from what I was saying, but yeah, how would you view your sessions and the people and the terminologies that you use to describe people? Do you call them tops, bottoms, doms, subs? Do you do it for more than that session? Do you have regular people that you session with? Do you actually have a relationship, a DS relationship with them that has been negotiated and talked about and agreed to, not just assumed? Because, you know when you make an assumption, you make an ass out of you an assumption. Make sure that you're clear, communicate clearly with people about, what your roles are. And it may be that sometimes you kind of fall into the role a little bit, but then you've got to take a step back and go, hey, look, I want to confirm that this is what we have, and this is what I'm thinking it is. If not, go back, negotiate, talk about it, all that sort of stuff. I mean, I've had to do it many times over the last 4, 5 plus years. There's a lot of things, like my relationship evolves quite organically. There's been some push on a few sides to get it done, but to realize that, and then occasionally sort of sit back and go, hey, just thoughts and touching base. Is this where we're at? And they go, yeah, okay, that's kind of what I thought. And where do you want to go from here? And what do you want to do? And how are things going? I'll have those talks on a semi-regular basis, or when they come up, because sometimes things change, different situations and whatnot. So you want to think about that. Life, universe, everything. Use of terminology can be important for some people because they attach certain expectations on that. So I'd rather describe someone that I'm newly playing with is either a bottom or a top, because then it doesn't put into mind that there's going to be a sort of permanent DS relationship there that I am not willing to enter into, and I am not going to use that as an in to get play at all. To me, that's immoral and not very cool. Like, I might say, hey, they're saying, like, oh, you're my dom, you're my whatever. I said, no, I'm your top. I can be a mistress for certain play sessions, but bear in mind, I'm also an own cat. And to me, that is, part of who I am. And that's not going to change. Anyway, think about it. Terminologies you use, the expectations that are attached to it, how other people are using those terminologies, what their expectations are, and maybe it has something to, maybe you could just try changing your terminology a little bit, and that might change your view on a lot of things and help ease some anxieties, or might confirm a few things for you. Anyway, Thursday, cold, single digits. Love you guys.